We have seen big name players linked with MLS every single season since David Beckham made the move back in 2007. There will always be stars attracted to the idea of coming to Major League Soccer in America, even though MLS has shifted its focus away from that type of player. They will always have interest in a big time player if they still have something left to give. I'm going to give you 5 players who I think could make the move to MLS this summer. But before we do that, make sure you like this video down below. It really helps us out. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of my videos. Now, when you make this list, there's always going to be some players that are linked with Major League Soccer, even if they're not that realistic. But these are going to be 5 players who have been rumored to be coming to MLS, interested in MLS, or just makes too much sense of finishing out their career in Major League Soccer. Now, starting at number 5, we have Thomas Müller. Thomas Müller is one of the most decorated players in world football history. He has won the league 12, 13, 14 times maybe with Bayern Munich. He's won a World Cup with Germany in 2014. He is a well-known commodity. He is only 35 years old. I still think he has plenty left to give because he's one of these transcending players that can play multiple positions. He can play as a striker. He can play as a false nine. He can play many positions, and he's still effective. And people know who Thomas Müller is. That is something you need. That's something that you want. You want to get names in MLS who are not only productive, but that people will know. Now, I'm not saying that signing Thomas Müller is going to automatically get 500,000, 600,000, a million subscriptions for Major League Soccer, but he is a name people recognize, people like him, and he still has the quality to contribute in Major League Soccer. Now, the question is, what team would Thomas Müller be a fit for? Now, some of the teams that I think would be a prime team interested in his services would be like a Galaxy, an LAFC, New York City FC, a New York Red Bulls, but some of these teams don't have an available DP spot. Now, you could get creative with his signing, kind of like Marco Reus with the LA Galaxy, or maybe they have some, not necessarily incentives, but got creative in the marketing side of things to compensate him, for his salary. He's not going to be making DP salary at some of these teams. He's not going to be a DP for the Galaxy. They don't have a DP spot open. And so they're going to have to get creative maybe if they were to sign a player like him. But I would think that Thomas Müller would most likely be a DP, whatever club he signs for. I would say a New York team would probably be the best fit for him. Maybe a New York City FC would make more sense because of them selling Santiago Rodriguez. But it might be hard to see him playing in a baseball stadium. I think there would be several teams interested in Thomas Müller. Let me know down below which team you think Thomas Müller would end up signing for, and if you would want to sign him at all at 35 going on 36. Now, moving on to number 4. Number 4 is an interesting one. Maybe a guy that wouldn't even consider MLS at 31 years old, but Paul Pogba. Obviously, he had the PED scandal at Juventus, which caused him to get a long suspension that was reduced to 1.5 years. He will be eligible to sign with a club in March. So technically, it could be an earlier signing than the summer, but Paul Pogba really hasn't given any hints about where he'd like to go or when he intends to sign with a team. Now, he has been training with Inter Miami this offseason or in Miami this offseason, and I just feel like this is a rare opportunity to get a player at this age who has quality. Now, he is a little injury prone. We got to be honest, but when he does play, he is quality. He is a World Cup winner. He was one of France's best players in 2018 when they did win the World Cup against Croatia. I think this would be a great signing, and I think that Paul Pogba would be very interested in coming to MLS because he loves American culture. He loves the United States. He loves basketball. He loves the Miami, the LA, the New York City lifestyle. It's a perfect culture and living situation for Paul Pogba at this point. And also, too, I think that with this rare opportunity, I don't know what teams in Europe would be interested in him at this point. I'm sure that there would be some, but if the offer isn't appealing to Paul Pogba, he may pass up on it for a lucrative deal to come to Major League Soccer. Let me know what you think about that deal. Do you see Paul Pogba coming to Major League Soccer in 2025? Now, the next one is a guy that the league has been chasing for a while now. There were even rumors about him possibly coming to MLS this past winter. That is one Neymar. Now, Neymar went back to his boyhood club at Santos, where he signed a 6-month deal to try to get fit to see what would happen after a terrible, terrible 2-year stint in the Saudi league. And he's looked pretty good. Now, some people say he's not back to his normal self, but it takes time, especially when you haven't played ball in that long. But he looks good enough. And honestly, with what he would sell jersey wise, with the quality that he would at least be able to play in MLS, you have to sign him if he wants to come here. And I think they could. Now, there has been rumors about him possibly wanting to go back to Barcelona. I don't really buy those because he's not going to start for Barcelona. I don't know if they have the money to sign him. And after he leaves Santos, unless he does extend, where else is he going to go? I really seriously doubt he goes back to Europe unless Barcelona were able to find the funds or promise him a starting spot, which I don't see happening. So the next best bet is Major League Soccer. Now, some of the clubs interested in him has been New York City, Miami, maybe an LA team. I very seriously doubt, also Chicago, have to throw that in there. I very seriously doubt that Inter Miami will be able to sign him, even though their DP situation is kind of foggy at the moment. They have Jordi Alba listed as DP. I don't know if he would be able to be bought down. But honestly, guys, you don't want that many stars in one team. You want to spread the wealth. You want to see stars in Chicago, stars in LA, stars in Miami, stars in New York City. You want to have a reason to want to watch other teams. You don't want to see it all in one spot. So if he does come to MLS this summer, I want him to sign with a different team. I don't want him to sign with Miami. I would rather see him in Chicago. I would rather see him in New York City. I would rather see him in LA, but not Miami. I think that would be a big mistake. I hope that if he comes, he goes to a different city. Where would you like to see Neymar at? Do you see him coming to Major League Soccer in 2025? Now, moving on to number 2, we have a guy that has been chased by MLS for a little bit now, been rumored heavily the last probably year or two, and it's Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is likely to leave Manchester City, and the team that has been hot on his heels has been San Diego FC. Now, San Diego FC has been negotiating with him for, I want to say, almost a year now, and it seems like they are willing to pay the salary that it would take to lure him away from Europe or even deter him from signing with a Saudi Arabian club. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is obviously a special talent, probably a top 5 midfielder in the last 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. Very high on Kevin De Bruyne. Now, he has had some lingering injuries the last couple years where he's missed several games. But when he plays, he is one of the best playmakers in the entire world. Crisp passing, incredible vision, shooting ability. He would absolutely dominate Major League Soccer because he dominates the Premier League when he is healthy. And also, it would give San Diego a little bit of star power that they don't currently have. Now, they do have Chucky Lozano, who is more of a regional star, right, in Mexico. But he's not a star on the global scale like Kevin De Bruyne. Everybody knows who Kevin De Bruyne is. He would be an absolute home run signing for San Diego FC. And I actually believe this is going to happen. There's been some reporting saying that it was going to happen. I think that Kevin De Bruyne is likely to come to Major League Soccer, the second most likely on this list to come to Major League Soccer this summer. But I believe it will happen, and it's going to be an incredible signing. Kevin De Bruyne is only 33. He will be 34 this year. I think he still has a lot to give, and I would be very excited to see what he does for an already competitive expansion team in San Diego FC and see what they can do. Now, number 1. This is a guy who has been rumored with MLS as well for a couple years now, and it looks like, well, we'll save the team he could go to in a minute, okay? But Antoine Griezmann, right? Antoine Griezmann has made it very apparent that he loves America. He wants to move here. He wants to live here. He loves American sports, basketball, baseball, football. He just loves the American lifestyle and culture. And even he's been playing really well at Atletico Madrid the last couple years after a bad stint with Barca back in 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. He had a very bad stint. He went back to Atletico Madrid, and he has rediscovered his form and has played incredible the last couple years. And he's been flirting around with LAFC, which I have to mention, he has 2 of his French national team teammates on that team, in Hugo Lloris and Olivier Giroud. Now, a lot of people thought that Antoine Griezmann could have came last summer, but he decided to stay one more year at Atletico Madrid and maybe even flirted around with the idea of coming this past winter. But It's a summer signing if he comes. And this just makes too much sense. He would be an absolutely incredible signing. It would be close. It'd be neck and neck between him and De Bruyne of which one would have a bit bigger impact. But I would say Griezmann probably would because of his personality. And having Griezmann come to MLS, he would instantly be the second most sold jersey, probably in history of the league, only behind one Lionel Messi. And it would be incredible to see LAFC have a star power like that with their club that they desperately need, because this club has kind of stalled out a little bit, to be honest with you. And Olivier Giroud hasn't really panned out like many people thought he would. And maybe Griezmann can help unlock that. I think that Griezmann would be an absolutely incredible, probably the third biggest signing in MLS history if Antoine Griezmann comes to Major League Soccer, only behind David Beckham and Lionel Messi. He would be the third biggest signing in Major League Soccer history. This is a deal they have to get done. I believe they will get done because, like I said, Major League Soccer, Apple TV, they need these signings to happen to get more people interested abroad. Not that there's not talent in MLS, because there is, obviously, right? But they need a couple names sprinkled in here to get people to tune in, to learn who these other guys are, these other players are, discover who they are. And so having big names is very essential. These are my 5 players who I think could come to MLS in the summer in 2025. I want to know what you guys think down below. Who do you think is coming? Who do you think is not coming? Rate these. Tell me who is there a person that I didn't name, a player I didn't name that you think will come to MLS in 2025? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.